Quickly, I'm sitting here doing the dishes. Isn't it always like that when you're doing the dishes and the most beautiful, mundane, what seem to be mundane acts, right? I'm thinking now of this young man. I forget his YouTube channel, but he's a little entrepreneur. I shouldn't say, why did I say a little entrepreneur? I don't know why. He's an entrepreneur. I guess I thought little because I'm thinking I'm so much older than him. He's a young man. And in one of his little talks, little pep talks to, his regarding how he grows his business and things of that nature, he mentioned Raj and the Best Day Ever, a book, and he said that he really enjoyed that book because in that book, Raj, this little lion, is going with his father to take care of daily tasks such as like going to the post office and going to the cleaners. But to Raj, this little tiger cub, it was the best day ever because at the cleaners he can see, and I don't know, I think he may say something like the clothespin and, go around on the, how the cleaners can press that button and the clothes spin around, or at the post office, he may have mentioned something about how it sorts or something. But the point this young man was trying to give was that it was all about perspective, right? That how to adults, when we become adults and start adulting, right? I'm hearing menial tasks like going to the post office or to the laundry, to the cleaners or to the laundromat, whatever, become like another, like, oh, I don't know. I just heard another suitor for the princess, from Aladdin, the animated version, right? And why that figure pops to my mind because it's a commoner, right? What would be called a commoner, saying, oh gosh, here we go again, another suitor for the princess, kind of like, how does that benefit me, or how does that it's perspective, right? Maybe that person could think of, well, maybe this could be a good suitor that she does marry, and then maybe he would be a good ruler and he would care about us commoners. But based on experience, or I'm hearing the same thing, I don't know why I just heard blood in, blood out. Wait a minute. I don't know why we getting gangsta. But yeah, I'm hearing because it's that type of mentality. Like once you're stuck there, that rigidness, right? Now I'm hearing Bruce Lee, flow like water. Now I'm hearing the 48 laws of warfare, right? Law number 48, assume formlessness, right? So there is this something to being able to I'm hearing pivot, right? Or to get a different, if you're in tarot land, the hangman, a new perspective. If you believe in the cup, is it half empty if it has, or half full, right? Think either half full or at least be grateful for the cup. So there's something around that. I don't know. I feel like I just went on a tangent around for that. And did I forget my point for getting on here? Dear Lord, hold on, wait a minute. But yes, so something as simplistic or as mundane as washing dishes, when it hit me. Now I'm hearing that song, then it hit me. Okay. Anyway, I was thinking earlier, and I even expressed it to my daughter, that I didn't know when in reflection of previous relationships, whether with friend, family, lover, or foe, I found myself in relationships where the other individual would either embarrass me, particularly publicly, right? Where they would humiliate me publicly in some form. So for example, a lover that pillow talks, right? That would maybe go back to the side chick and backbite me. That's more of a Muslim term. Gossip about me. So not only allow the side chick or their family members to talk about me, but then even not only co-sign it, but even jump in on it. Like I just heard, like double dutch, tag in on it, right? And they too talk about me and in disparaging, humiliating, or embarrassing ways, right? And I kept trying to wrap my finger around, why would I allow myself, as a teenager and then as an adult, to allow for those type of situations to continue, meaning to remain in a relationship with a friend, family member, job, or foe, lover, where I knew that, such, rest word that comes to mind, such disrespect, violation of boundaries and space would be allowed, right? Because my cutoff game is vicious. Once I cut you off, I cut you off. I'm a Leo, just to kind of give it some stereotypical perspective for people, which is I'm loyal to a fault sometimes, right? Like, I will ride, right? I am loyal when I believe that you are a part of my tribe. I'm a goon for you all day. But now I heard, what's a goon to a goblin? Nothing. You ain't saying. That's when I turn into the goblin, when I cut you off. Because I was gooning for you all day, but the minute I saw, not the minute, but when I found a point, when I reached a certain point, I turned into that goblin. Then, it's no turning back, and I'm not saying I can't forgive you. I will forgive you. You just don't have no more access to me. None whatsoever. No, you can't call me. No, you can't come back into my house. No, we can't roll together. Now, if I see you in the street, you say, what's up? I say, what's up? If you're Muslim, you give me the salams. I'm going to return them because, I'm not going to let the angel steal that blessing from me. I have no problem with that. Well, depending on the offense, right? But it's like, out here like letting water roll off my back, I can forgive you or whatever. But if I thought that you were, if the offense was grave, like a TikTok, I saw not to that, now I'm taking off my earrings, I'm putting up my ponytail, the Vaseline might come out, the tennis shoes is getting tight, because now I feel like, no, you schemed on me, right? You plotted. This was what they say when they go about to arrest people. They say this was premeditated murder, right? There's a difference, right? That's when the cutoff game is vicious. Once I found out it was premeditated in some type, no, that's it. Because you tried me on a whole nother level. And not only me, everything that's concerning me, my queendom, my children, my grandchildren, my family. Because now when you're attacking me on that level, you're telling me you give no F's about not just me, but my seed and everything else I'm trying to. And when I mean seed, I don't mean even just my kids, but everything I've seeded, right? All of my creativity, my projects, my everything. Because you effing with me, the main one that is in control of all these things. Okay, we went there too. Okay, let's see. So at first I told my daughter that I believe that one of the reasoning behind me allowing such absurd, but that's not the word initially, such behavior, it was a word that was coming to my mind, horrific, such now I'm hearing dehumanizing behavior to occur was I remember as a young child, very young, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years old, going with my mom to find my dad in precarious situations, particularly with other women, and the result not being in her favor, meaning not only would she be hurt and distraught from finding him at such and such house, but also the disrespect that she would receive from him and her, and then to be left walking with me at hand back home crying. But just now while I was running that water, the water, right? I run to the water. Didn't I just say, back to formless like water, right? Water holds memory in terms of emotion, vibrational emotion. Okay. And I'm hearing run that water again. Run it up. Run them receipts. When I thought about it a little more, it wasn't just in that, because that would be inform some of like maybe why I would allow lovers to do that, but why friends, why family members, why even foes or coworkers or something like that. But what I remember is my cousin at one point running in back and telling my friends, I was like 10 years old, 10, going on 11. my mom would say, because when you grow up with parents who were raised this way, right? She was, from a very young age, she reports to us that at the age of 7, she was already cooking rice, learning how to cook and iron, and getting burned with iron water spots and cooking rice. And if the tasks were not done to liking or to perfection, in terms like if that rice did not turn out right, that was her ass whooped, because it was like, not only did you not do it correctly, but now you wasted a whole pot of rice. We ain't got money to waste like that. So then, of course, she thinks this type of parenting is appropriate, and she inflicted some of that on us. And one of the things she would say when she would come home from work is, if the house wasn't clean up to her standards, or it was messy and it wasn't clean at all for whatever reason, and like I said, at that time I might have been 9-10 years old, and my sisters would have been 6 and 7. She would yell at us and say that we were pigs and we were nasty and things of that nature, and that we don't like to clean and blah blah blah. And she yelled this so much that my older cousins, when they would come over, they would hear her. And my mom would threaten that one day she would tell my friends at school that I was such a pig, and would embarrass me that way. But it was always a threat. She never actually did it. But who did? My cousin did. My cousin actually went to the playground one day and told all my 5th grader friends that, and humiliated me ungratefully. Then I also think about her mother in raising. Now, she didn't raise me in the sense that she wanted to, but because of my running away and addiction with her daughters, her daughter would sneak me into the house. And when she would find me there in the morning, because, I would need a place to sleep, she would wake me up with very nasty words, very nasty, very brutal, very nasty things to say to me. And again, at that time, I was 11, 12 years old. And she was calling me all kinds of names and saying, I'm not embarrassed. They washed my face with piss when I was born. How can I not be embarrassed to be thrown out of her house and yet still return when I knew I was unwelcome there? So fast forward about maybe 3 to 4 months ago, I began to listen to a young lady on YouTube. I'm not going to mention her because I don't want people to distort it and take it completely out of context, because I don't even believe she understands that, and I don't believe that's her intention. But although I agreed with a lot of her of the information that she was disseminating to a certain respect, her style and tactic, it was conflicting within me, because part of me was like, wow, she's right. That is true when you're talking about women and raising children by themselves, and the responsibility, and how it falls more on the women, and women have to stop blaming men and take accountability and blah blah blah. Very much to be agreed with. For myself, I can't speak for anybody from that perspective, and my background in human services, and knowing the Clinton administration and politics, associated economics, I know that there's a hidden agenda behind that, so much bigger. So for me, I was conflicted, because part of me understood the reasoning and the need for accountability on that side, but then I also understood that you don't victimize the victims, and that the issue was deeper. But it was one time when she was being as vulgar as she usually gets, and as, what we would call in the hood as, I gotta give it to you raw. I don't know if she said it or if I heard it. I have to talk to you this way, or I the only way you listen to me is when I yell at you. That's when something in my spirit said, fuck no, the fuck you won't, no the fuck you don't, but that's what I had become accustomed to, right? I was around people like my father and other adults who would say that, the only way you listen to me is if I'm hitting you, or if I'm yelling at you, or if I'm talking to you that way, if I'm embarrassing you this way, if I'm disrespecting you this way. And that's bullshit. Don't nobody, I don't give a fuck. Yes, and now I'm cursing. Needs to be treated that way or talked to that way. And I think that goes back to slavery and things of that nature. But that's another conversation. But it was beautiful because it was in running that water, and then it just hit me where that came up to the surface, and it gave it more of a fuller understanding for me as to why I then would allow myself to be in situations and then stay as long as I did, because there was a part of me, a certain aspect of my brain that thought that's the norm, that believed, see confirmation, that lie. I'm hearing that old adage that, I need it, some of y'all need to get told like this. Y'all say I'm being mean, or y'all say I'm being too rough, but no, it sounds like if y'all won't hear it if I don't tell y'all any other way. I disagree with that. Now, I'm a person just like anybody else. What's that old saying? Mine's is an opinion just like everybody else, and we all, they like a-holes, we all got one. So I get it. I'm not saying everybody has to think like me, or I just know I no longer want to receive information in that light or from that perspective. Don't fucking talk to me that way. No, it is not cool. Not even if I'm sitting on if you're sitting on the sofa and I'm in the kitchen, you say, yo, get over here. Who the fuck you talking to? You don't have to talk to people that way. It is not in my book. And now I'm here. As for me and my house, thank you, Joshua, from the Bible. We will serve the Lord. That scripture, as for me and my house, this is how you going. I don't know about anybody else, but these are my boundaries. And, the individual that I want to become, that I am and have become, and that I still want to continue to pursue moving forward, does not need to be talked to in that way. I am very intelligent and articulate. I can understand just fine if you explain it to me in a calm voice with sweeter words and a sweeter demeanor. Yes, I'm fine with that. Even down to training, I used to always think, even with training with the gym, oh no, I need a trainer that, would curse at me and disrespect me and, be hard on me because, I'm hard. No, the fuck I don't. I found out when I got a trainer like that I dated, that, wasn't cursing at me and being disrespectful, but was so rigid in their training and didn't allow for a fun and flexibility to a certain extent. It bothered the fuck out of me. It boiled my blood, and I couldn't really pin why, but it's all rooting back to that. It was triggering me. All these things are triggering to me, because of my background and because of the people in my life, from teachers to employers to family members to lovers, even to like girlfriends or cousins that I would hang out with that were older than me, that thought, again, that was the way you spoke to people. And again, I don't know if even half of them even thought what they were doing was wrong, or even were aware of it. And, so, I don't know if it's necessarily something, evil and demonic that people are just trying to do. All I'm saying, daggone it, is that as for me and my house, now I'm not talking about a physical structure outside, like a building or like this house that I have. Thank you, Lord. I thank you, God. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, Divinity. Thank you, Source. Thank you, Ancestors. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for this house. But I'm talking about my house, this flesh and blood that I am carrying, my internal house, my house, my temple. We don't want to be talked to like that. The little girl in me, though, my higher self, we are all in agreement when they say where two or more shall agree. Listen, we are the Holy Trinity.